This is about the last video I'm going to make of this project for a while until I iron out exactly what's going on. I'm going to need to get some test equipment I don't have, and I'm going to be going through my work underneath the chassis to make sure I didn't make any mistakes. But anyways, what I have here is the voltmeter, my meter. Let me turn it on. And I think I'm on the right scale. Yes. Okay, I'm going to show what happens. What I'm doing is I'm monitoring the voltage that feeds the sweep circuits, the horizontal and vertical sweep circuits. I'm monitoring the power supply voltage. So I'm going to switch it on and let's see what this thing does. It's warming up. 439. It should be 360 volts. But when the tubes heat up, you're going to see it drop. See, look, it's dropping. Okay. $336 volts.
Tell me where I can find Jerry Giles. Yeah. You'll find his dressing room right through that door behind the piano.
And eventually it's going to fade out.
He's cute. Who does he want?
Oh, crazy man.
It should be 360 volts. You see it's dropping. 27, 327, 26. We lost it at 20, 26, 25 volts. So that's what's going on. Here's the power supply. It's all been rebuilt. I have new parts in it. And the 360 volts that it's supposed to supply actually comes down to 335, and that keeps the sweep circuits running until it drops down to about 325. Now, why is it dropping down? Why is the power supply? Could it be a problem with the power supply? Maybe the power transformer. I checked the 5U4 tube, which supplies that voltage, and that tests stellar. I left it in my tester for a long time to make sure that the emissions stayed high. This 5Y3 tube here, that actually supplies the receiver, and as you could hear in the audio and everything, that's working just fine. So why is the voltage dropping down so low? Why is that happening? You know, the video had that real scrunched up look. I played around with the picture switch. I'm kind of thinking that there are other issues causing that, as you could see from this last power up, although I didn't have the horizontal centered right, I didn't sync it, but it locks the horizontal, or the vertical, I'm sorry. The vertical and the horizontal lock in just fine when they're adjusted. I don't have a lot of time to adjust it because after 35 or 40 seconds of it being on, the voltage from the power supply drops low enough to where it won't run the sweep circuits anymore. Bob Anderson thought that the yoke might be bad. There's another possibility that the high voltage, or the horizontal section, the flyback transformer, might actually be shorted enough to where it's drawing current. Well, what I'm not seeing is I'm not seeing any red plate on the horizontal output tubes. And a way I can test that is to pull the fuse that feeds it. Quarter amp fuse feeds that circuit. If I pull that out, I can monitor my voltage and see if my voltage stays up and if it stays solid. And it's one thing I can do. Another thing I can do is, one of the things I will be doing is I'm going to upend this chassis, and I'm going to look at the work I did, my capacitors that I put in, and make sure that I didn't wire something wrong. I didn't put a wrong part in, a capacitor that's not the right part, to make sure that I didn't do things that that messed it up. In other words, what I'm saying is the problem I'm seeing right now, did that problem exist before I rebuilt it, or did the problem come about as a result of what I've done? Now what I did fix, the receive circuits are working just fine now with all the new capacitors and stuff. If you remember on one of my very early videos when I tested this TV as is, there was no picture, of course, and I didn't see if I had any high voltage. I didn't have any meters on it, and the sound was very, very, it wasn't really receiving very well. With the new parts in it, it receives solid, and it also, like I say, the horizontal and vertical are easy to lock in. So what could be the matter? I'm going to check my work, make sure I didn't do something to screw it up, and then I'm going to do some other tests. I'm going to get a flyback and a yoke tester. I have a flyback tester that someone gave me, but I think I'm going to get something that's for yokes as well. So that's where I'm at. It's going to be, I got to take this off the bench soon because I've got some client work to do on the bench, so this is going to have to be set aside. There won't be another video until I get something resolved. Thanks a lot for watching.